In this video, we're going to talk about an important yet awkward event in the last part of the life of Muhammad. The event of Mubahala took place in March 10, 632 AD, when the Prophet of Islam proposed a challenge to a delegation of 14 Christian bishops from Najran, which is the northern part of Yemen, to invoke the curse of God upon the liars. The incident of Mubahala is mentioned in the Quran in chapter 3, ayah 61. The Prophet of Islam sent a decree to the Christians of Najran in which three things were mentioned in order as follows: to embrace Islam, pay jizya, or get ready to get subdued by the Muslims. Muhammad would else attack the Christians of Najran, steal all of their wealth and money, kill the men, and take the women and children as slaves. The Prophet of Allah invited the Christians of Najran for Mubahala, and they accepted the invitation. Now, what was the result of Mubahala? If you read the Quranic verse, Muhammad asked the Christian monks to bring their children and their wives with them to the cursing party, which is a very foolish thing to say as the God of the Quran. Now, you might ask, why is that a very foolish thing to say? Well, these are monks, and as you know, monks have no wives or children. Monks live a celibate life. They don't have any sexual relations with women. How can then the writer of the Quran claim to be a god and not a foolish, ignorant man? There is simply no divine revelation. These are the words of an ignorant false prophet. Supposedly, the Christian monks backed off from the cursing contest and requested their dimitude to be accepted. Muhammad accepted their request and asked his cousin Ali to write the agreement according to which the Najran tribes accepted to pay jizya and live under the protection of Muslims. And you might ask, protection from who? Well, protection by the Muslims from the Muslims. So the Muslims considered this as a victory. But wait, was it really a victory for the Muslims? Remember, the Mubahala took place in March, yet Muhammad died in June 8th, 632. So immediately after 3 months, Muhammad died a cursed death. Oh boy, embarrassing. So was this a victory for Islam or Muhammad? No, this happens when you try to set up a trap for others, but you yourself fall in that same trap you dug. And so did his family members, the Ahlul Bayt, who Muhammad brought with him to the cursing party. Most of them were later killed at the hands of other believing Muslims. The irony, you might say. Muslims will try to convince you that Muhammad died a natural death. Let us see if they lied. If we read the most authentic sources like Musnad Ahmad by Ahmad ibn Hanbal, we find that a companion like Ibn Mas'ud in the following Sahih hadith saying, I swear by Allah 9 times that the Prophet was killed and that he died as a martyr. And Allah in the Quran said in chapter 69, ayahs 44 to 46, وَلَوْ تَقَوَّلَ عَلَيْنَا بَعْضَ الْأَقَاوِيلِ لَأَخَذْنَا مِنْهُ بِالْيَمِينِ ثُمَّ لَقَطَعْنَا مِنْهُ الْوَتِينَ. And if Muhammad had made up about us false sayings, we would have seized him by the right hand, then we would have cut from him the aorta. And in Sahih Bukhari, we see that Muhammad himself then admits that he found that his aorta is being cut off by the poisoned food he ate at Khaybar. This is the result of a false prophet who tried to curse others, but instead he himself died as a cursed rat. Which also reminds me of someone called Ahmadiyat, who did not learn from the mistake of his false prophet. That same Ahmadiyat also invoked the curse of God before a debate, but was later cursed and became paralyzed and mute, living as a plant for the rest of his miserable life. Muslims, please don't follow the steps of your false prophet like Ahmadiyat did. Think twice before you try to invoke a curse and challenge the living God of the Holy Bible, because the God of the Holy Bible is a very holy God. Be careful, my friends. Thanks for watching. Stay away from Islam and God bless.